Walking down this lonely road, damn near almost lost my soul. But now that I'm in control, what they gon' do? Can no evil hold me down? Let no evil hold me down. When your will is on the ground, what you gon' do? I won't go for anything that isn't in direction of the moon. Don't ever let anything come in between, 'cause surely you will lose. Inhale the atmosphere, brushing fear right off the shoulders. Looking around, couldn't find anyone, feel like the world getting colder. Be I'm motivated, we won't stop until we are over, yeah. And I won't look back, no, won't look back, no. 'Cause it's only a matter of time, now we in here, dog. Homie said you need to get involved, ain't no looking back, ain't no other way around it, dog. You got everything you need on guard, just honing your faith and your power. Trust we could win, this is ours. No, this is not just a dream, keeping you up early every hour, but it just doesn't make sense. What good is this life if all we do is pretend? Trying to see the light, but darkness wants to creep in. Way up in my mind, wanna push me off the deep end. Wait, slow down, hone it now. If you believe, then you better breathe it. Walking down this lonely road, damn near almost lost my soul. But now that I'm in control, what they gon' do? Can no evil hold me down? Let no evil hold me down. When your will is on the ground, what you gon' do? I won't go for anything that isn't in direction of the moon. Don't never let anything come in between, 'cause surely you will lose. Introspect, take a sec, watch it step, where you step, when you step, falling free through the sky, feel the breeze, feel the eye, all your fears, let them die, energy never lies. Introspect, take a second, let your world unfold,
falling free through the sky,
I just wanna feel right,
feel the breeze, feel the eye,
I'm so tired of being lost,
all your fears, let them die,
wings take flight.
energy never lies.
There's nothing we cannot handle. Light up the dark like a candle. Usually they misunderstand you, yeah. Give a damn if they can't relate. All we want is to motivate. Take it on, never hesitate. Acknowledge it, but then make it. We are the ones in control. We are the ones in control. Just honing your faith and your power. Trust we could win, this is ours. No, this is not just a dream. Take on the world and devour. Walking down this lonely road, damn near almost lost my soul. But now that I'm in control, what they gon' do? Can no evil hold me down? Let no evil hold me down. When your will is on the ground, what you gon' do? I won't go for anything that isn't in direction of the moon. Don't never let anything come in between, 'cause surely you will lose. Yeah, we only getting started, but you know I got to bang it. Yeah, we're shooting for the stars, you know you got to aim it. Yeah, this goes out to the ones who doubt it. How you gonna see with your eyes so clouded? Look to the sky, feed your mind rerouted. Damn, it's been a long, long day. I done came a long, long way. I've been feeling all kind of restless. Getting to it, what can I say? Soaking up game like a lesson. Spirit too strong, that's a blessing. Rather elevate into outer space. You could go insane, lose your way from the stressing. And I ain't really on that. Gotta take it higher, yeah, we're on that. We will never stop, we'll never fall back. This is that, I need more of that. Gotta take it higher like you're on that. Gonna take it higher, yeah, we're on that. Whoa. I hear you screaming on the inside. You gotta let it go, let your mind ride. Yeah, we only getting started, but you know I got to bang it. Yeah, we're shooting for the stars, you know you got to aim it. Yeah, this goes out to the ones who doubt it. How you gonna see with your eyes all clouded? Up to the sky, feed
Muted. Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is the Beware of the Fake Woke show. eBlacks with chaotic truth. He's behind. What's going on, guy?
What's
You
going
see,
on, man?
you're not the only one with a blazer, man. You know what I mean? I got it together over here. You know what I mean? Salute to everybody that's here, early birds. But if anybody has ever watched eblacktv, they know this is one of my favorite shows to do. I love to talk about the nuances within a political society, and have our opinions. So today is mainly about politics, news, things that have been popping up, and me and Chaotic, we're gonna tackle a couple of subjects. We ain't gonna be here for a long time, but if you would please leave a like. If you like the content that you're viewing, please subscribe. Chaotic, how you doing, my guy?
Awesome, man. It's a warm day where I'm at. I enjoyed the weather by going out for a walk today. I didn't run, but went out for a walk. But how about yourself?
I've been good, man. I keep delaying getting my Christmas tree. This is the latest I've ever got my Christmas tree, but we're gonna get it tomorrow. We're gonna get it tomorrow.
Do you celebrate Kwanzaa, sir?
Yes, I do. I do celebrate Kwanzaa.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Do you celebrate Kwanzaa?
No, I haven't celebrated Kwanzaa since childhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I try to keep up with the Kwanzaa as much as I can. Not necessarily with the candles and everything, but just in terms of just kind of talking to my little kid, because I try to pass on some things.
Okay.
And anyway, so this is the beware of fake woke, right? What do you think about what does fake woke mean to you?
Well, I mean, fake woke, to be honest with you, it encompasses the entire woke paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
It's this notion or idea that we need to be sensitive to everybody's opinions, everybody's perspectives, no matter at whatever cost. And we see this in media right now. We see it in particularly with Disney right now. Disney is suffering because they're trying to be woke, but it's fake woke. They're trying to, so we see this with Disney. We see it with their products like The Little Mermaid, Star Wars. I want to say Snow White just came out. We see it with so many assets of Disney because they're trying to be woke. And the problem with being woke is that you're forcing people to accept or acknowledge certain physical features, racial identities, or that a lot of people just don't really care about. We just care about the product itself, but you're forcing these things on us. And to me, that's fake woke. Fake woke is being woke. It's actually being woke.
Well, I think there's. Let me say this. I think it's very much superficial engagement. It's basically having the appearance of kind of, or the intent of projecting an image of like consciousness. It's also performative activism. Activism. It's like you're virtue signaling a lot of things that you're doing, and you're creating selective outrage. And it shows a lack of depth of knowledge in regards to any particular topic you may be talking about. So a lot of times, and this is not just on the liberal side or the conservative side too. Conservatives will go deep down the rabbit hole about how conservative they are, and a lot of times they don't understand true conservatism until they get confronted with a political topic. Same with liberals. Liberals, you know, we sometimes we're very much overly outraged about a particular things in regards to race and gender and a whole bunch of stuff. So I think on both sides, when it comes to being fake woke, I think the idea of trying to display a virtue signal to everybody that, you know, you're going, how do I say, you're trying to be consistent in a commitment to justice or consistent to the environment. It's like a guy who sits there and says, you know, we shouldn't kill animals, but has $1,000 leather suit on or leather shoes. It's like,
Exactly.
you don't care about the environment.
Exactly. Not at all.
Like a guy.
I mean, we see that all the time with like people like Greta Thunberg.
Yes.
I think one of the biggest carbon footprinters on the planet, I think, is Floyd, like in his private jets. But Floyd doesn't preach about climate though, but like a Greta Thunberg does, right?
Yeah.
But how does she get to all these events? Well, she obviously
she's on a jet,
or she's using some sort of mode of transportation that leaves a massive carbon footprint. But anyway, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's it. That's exactly the case. You know, where, you know, even when people can claim to be a vegetarian or vegan, but then the differences between vegetarian and vegan are, you know, a vegan person doesn't wear leather.
Right.
It's like, you're like, are you doing it really for health because you don't want to eat a steak, but then you're wearing it's a lot of corniness that goes along with it. So you know, what we're gonna do today is kind of cover the fake wokeness. We're gonna cover fake wokeness. We're gonna cover a couple of topics that I've seen in the news. Let me ask you this: have you seen this picture before?
Yeah, poor kid. Yeah.
What do you know about this kid?
The little guy, he's 8 years old or 9. He was at the I still refer to them as the Redskins.
No, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Was that the Chiefs? Or you sure? You sure it wasn't?
Yes, it's the Chiefs.
Oh, it's the Chiefs. Okay, he's at the Chiefs game, and the media purposely took a photo, or they used this photo of this kid. They didn't use the other side. They used this photo, and the evil nature of the media is that this 7-8-year-old kid who has no concept of politics, no concept of race, they're making it seem like this kid is a racist, even though he's not. He has no knowledge of Native American history or etc. He's 8 years old, right?
Actually, no. Actually, the kid actually does know about his stuff. His father, come to find out now, this guy Karen Phillips, he published an article on November 27, 2023. The NFL must ban native headdress and culturally insensitive face paints in the stand. So he used this picture as a way to kind of state that, you know, his argument or his disbelief. So let me see. Let me pull that argument.
Well, let me finish real quick. So the kid, like I said, he's a little kid. He has, you know, he's supporting his team. And in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with wearing certain garments that you know that represent the team, right?
Yeah.
So the kid went on TV with his father. You know, it was a real evil thing. I think that the media spun this into. But anyway, go ahead though.
Well, with the fact of the matter was that this kid actually is Native American. His father is, from my understanding, well, let me say this. I'm going to play the video.
Yeah.
This is from, I forgot her name, Amelia.
I know she is. Yeah.
Yes. So this is from her panel or her show, and she talks extensively about it. So I don't want to repeat a lot of the stuff. So let's just play the clip.
If you look at this photo, of course, he's wearing the headdress, and there's lots of controversy over this virtually worldwide. If you wear a Native American headdress, you are accused of cultural appropriation. You are taking on a culture's tradition that has a deep value. It means something to the Native American people. How dare you wear a headdress and trivialize something that is so important to him? Well, it turns out that this young Kansas City Chiefs fan is actually a Native American himself. This young man happens to be a member of the Chumash tribe, and guess what? His dad is even on the board of the tribe itself. So I think it's okay that the young man decided to wear a Native American headdress to the Chiefs game. And even if he Native American, it would still be okay. And it's so hilarious because when we talk about these stories of cultural appropriation, so often it is people who are not even from the culture that they are talking about getting upset. And that is exactly the case with this whole article that was published about this kid. This dude isn't Native American, but he's getting upset on behalf of Native Americans. And he didn't even take the time to look into this kid's background to see if he was a Native himself. He just
So you can see it now. Now, let me ask you this: is this fake woke?
Again, yeah. The media saw what they perceived as a white kid first, and we live in times where they can spin anything into a racial narrative. And this white kid, he's wearing his headdress. We know that teams have abandoned the whole Native American mascots, Cleveland Indians, obviously the Redskins, et cetera, et cetera. So they saw this kid wearing the headdress, and now it backfired on them. But like I keep saying before, man, it's going to keep on happening.
It was very lazy, lazy, because what he did was he saw this.
Yep.
And it's probably 10 o'clock at night. He had a couple of beers, and he felt that
the father.
No, he just probably the guy who wrote this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just lazy writing.
Yeah,
the guy he probably had a couple of beers. It's 10 o'clock. He has a 5 o'clock in the morning deadline to produce some video.
Mm-hmm.
Seen this, looked through Twitter. Oh, this is good. This is good. I can write that.
Yeah.
Typed up something, sent it on, and went to sleep for the rest of the night. Not realizing that he totally violated first a young kid. He violated a family, a culture. He also downgraded the argument in regards to cultural appropriation. It's just, and he's a brother. You gotta be smarter than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, remember, man, he's in the business of selling woke. He's in the business of selling racism. He's in the business of selling victimhood. He's in the media. I don't know which outlet he works for, but I'm pretty sure they lean. Who?
Deadspin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Deadspin is super left. Left leaning, right? Can you look it up real quick?
Yeah, Deadspin is actually it's a sports.
Yeah, it's still.
Hold on, let me see.
Maybe sports, but listen, we know ESPN right now is leaning left, right?
I'm guessing so. Now it looks like they have Gizmo, Quartz, The Root. Okay, yeah, they're probably left.
Let's be honest, man. A lot of these sports networks are leaning left now. I mean, I remember when ESPN did sports, but now look what ESPN does. They cover the George Floyd riots. They cover so many quote unquote woke topics that is sickening. Like I'm literally looking at CNN when I'm looking at ESPN, know. Yeah. And believe it or not, ESPN is owned, guess by who?
Disney.
Ain't that something, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can agree. I can agree that I definitely think this one is an L. He's definitely gonna have to take this L for this topic. So so to the chat, hold on one second. How are we defining woke? Does it mean cultural awareness or something else? Von Bryant, you're a little bit late. We started off the conversation with that. Also, I want to give a salute to Trigger Mike. What up, fellas? Show some love to my brothers. Well, that
owns 80% of ESPN. So that's why when you're watching ESPN now, you're not watching sports people talk about sports anymore. You're literally watching CNN. You're watching wokeism right there. And what does ESPN do? Constantly. They talk about social topics. They talk about things that, they play the victim card all the time. Look what they cover. Look, they cover George Floyd. They cover Colin Kaepernick. The list goes on. But go back 30 years ago, what did ESPN cover?
Yeah, they were very exclusive to just sports. But at the same time, let's be fair about this. The news was very news at a particular time. Now the news is literally a commentary networks. Fox. What happened in the Fox hearing where the guy went up there and he said, what I do is entertainment. I don't believe what I say. I do entertainment. I get a script and we follow a narrative. And that's on the conservative side. Mm-hmm. I believe the exact same thing happens on the CNN left side. So I think the reason why we get into these conversations, or why networks get into these conversations, is because they want to invoke emotion.
Of course.
And sports is a way of evoking emotion, but there's no narrative with the emotion. You can't carry on. The San Francisco 49ers beat the Eagles, right? Last weekend. 3 days later, you don't want to keep hearing how they beat the Eagles. You want to hear the backstory. You want to hear the narrative. You want to hear the overall commentary of the defeat. And I think they realized that to get more eyes and ears beyond Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, they're going to have to go into more of a style of commentary. And you're going to get into these type of dialogues or even spins to keep the eyes on the public.
Josh Giddey.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of people don't know who he is. White boy. Good player. To me, he's a good player. 15 points a game.
Yeah, he's good.
He's accused of sexual assault because his quote unquote victim is an underage girl, right? So that's technically an assault.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, different states, you can be a certain age, I guess 17. I don't know, right? I still think it's creepy when you're over 18 and you're sleeping with somebody younger. But anyway, people are mad at ESPN, particularly Stephen A. Smith. Malika? What's that black chick's name? Malika, for not covering it.
Mm-hmm.
But what people don't understand is white men in crime, or I'm sorry, there's a formula, right?
Yes.
In sports, a white dude fucking up, sorry for my language, it doesn't sell. So what people don't understand is that Stephen A. Smith probably wants to talk about it. Michaela, whatever her name is, wants to talk about it, but it doesn't sell. It just doesn't sell. And so even with wokeism, it's like it's all about really what sells, right? Now, had Josh Giddey been black, they'll talk about it daily because they know that the ratings will go up. But for some reason, people don't really care about the white guy who slept with some 17-year-old girl. They don't care. It doesn't sell. If it's sold, they'll talk about it constantly. But
now, and I agree, because I remember when Brett Favre got caught up in his situation, and everybody was like, "What? We're not getting no updates. We're not." He actually got caught stealing and transferring money and misappropriation of money, and you didn't hear. You barely had a blurb across the.
Nobody watches it.
So now is that fake woke? Because essentially I think we all want to sit here and say we care about things, and like I say, a person like Giddey, who is a hero to somebody, we should be holding him accountability. Is it really about accountability, or is it just about being woke?
It's about capitalism at the end of the day.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, in my opinion, you can exploit wokeism. That's what they're doing now. So the fact of the matter is that Josh Giddey doesn't sell. He's not marketable with his scandal. Now, had he been your complexion, my complexion, 6'4", oh yeah, of course, that will sell for the next 2 or 3 months. That'll be something that Stephen A. Smith, Michaela talk about. The little girl could be a victim. The mother could be a victim. Whoever the basketball player is can be a victim. It sells. The problem, a lot of things with wokeism is really capitalism and what sells. And what sells, to be honest with you.
Okay, I can dig that. I can dig that. All right. Let's get to our next topic. We're gonna be. What do you think about trans women playing sports?
To be honest with you, I think it's repulsive. I think it's disgusting. But since there is legislation, well, you know what? Now, matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, there was a big thing in Congress last year where they cut off funding, I think, for
Title IX.
Yeah, Title IX, right? But in actuality, I really believe that if you are a women's team in any sport, you should protest. You should protest 100%. Men and women are biologically different. And even me at 5 foot such and such, I'm stronger physically than a 6'2", 6'3" woman, period.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
I agree. I agree. I think there should be. I think you should at least have the opportunity to enter into a co-ed type of league or competition. You know, I think if, like for instance, what they do with track, where you know, they're doing mixed 400s, or you know, like they'll have the women and the men, and they'll alternate, or they'll choose basically 2 guys and 2 women. I think it's fair for a woman and a man to say, you know what, we're going to enter into this event in this type of playing field, and then us competing against each other. We'll set the rules and whatever. But if I'm a woman and I'm going to say I'm going to go against other women, and then all of a sudden a biological man comes through, that's a different story. The same with men. If I'm a man and I'm entering into a men's league or places where men are operating, and then next thing you know, a woman comes in, I think that's unfair to them. That's why I think it's definitely the only way to do this is to create leagues and to create environments where both men and women agree on the outset.
Why not trans women create their own damn league?
Well, they're doing that with boxing.
Okay.
They're trying to do that with boxing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If I was a woman, I would protest every day. I wouldn't want to compete against a biological man. And I don't give a goddamn what Karine Jean-Pierre, not Karine Jean-Pierre, the SCOTUS, what's her name? Ketanji Jackson Brown, the Supreme Court Justice, who just got nominated, a Black woman. It was appalling when this woman could not answer what a woman was. You're a Supreme Court justice. I don't give a goddamn if you're a Democrat, Republican, you're on the left or you're the right. Lady, you know what a woman is. And the fact of the matter is that it is dangerous when we have elected officials and officials who are nominated, because she's not elected, she's nominated, when they can't answer this question, because you are putting women in danger. And a lot of women understand this. This is why you really, you guys should really watch Lady Ballers on Daily Wire. You guys should really watch this movie, because this is really happening. You have a lot of delusional men who are losers in real life. Let's be honest. I'm about to land the plane. Losers in real life. They can't compete against other men, so they compete against women, and they get trophies and satisfaction. That's what happened with the swimmer. I forgot his name, but that's what happened with the swimmer. And so if you're a woman out there, if you have daughters, this is a reality going on.
Yeah.
It didn't happen in my day when I was a kid, but you're going to have a lot of guys who are going to want to wrestle and play football and basketball with your daughters. And are you going to be forced to accept this?
I think it's a gray area because I do remember certain women, like certain girls, did want to play football, and I think there was a girl kicker in the NCAA. I do believe that there is a certain way of doing this. I don't think it's necessarily black or white. I do believe that if a girl wants to play football and their only option she has is the boys' team in her high school, I do think she should have the opportunity.
Why?
Fairness. Give her an opportunity to play.
But she can't. But you and I both know
if she's a kicker, just a kicker.
Kicker. Give me the name of a kicker right now who's good. They had a white girl at Jackson State.
Yes.
Who was horrible. They had a female like 2 years ago who tried out for an NFL team. She couldn't even do a long kick for like 30, 40 yards. Women are just not physically inclined.
Okay.
And you are taking, and the problem with wokeness is that this woman is taking up a spot that a man should be in. Okay. Because there's this fake wokeness going on. And you and I both know that.
Okay. We'll let it sit right there. But what about pool?
Pool, chess. It should be unisex.
What? Okay. Hold on.
I mean, like, what are you doing with
now?
pool?
This person in this video was in a tournament, in a pool tournament, and there was a trans person there, and she ended up walking out.
Okay.
Let's play the video.
Transgender player, you know that in your heart, even if you win, it doesn't make any difference. It's unfair. It's completely unfair. My concerns are that for the future of women's sports and women's pool, because we have stories of 18-year-old snooker players and pool players that are practicing 8 hours a day and already feel like they're not good enough, and that there's a level they're expected to reach now that's unreachable, to be honest with you, because it doesn't matter how much practice a female puts into the sport. They will never be able to compete against biological males at this sport. I think the unfairness is clear. Everybody can have a competitive advantage. My opponent was as quoted as saying recently that she feels she's improved to such a high level due to having her own table and getting coaching and playing lots of hours. Well, there are lots of women that do have those advantages, and we accept that we have competitive advantages and competitive disadvantages. Like, my back is bad, so I have a competitive disadvantage. But we accept that they are in every sport. This is a category advantage. Being biologically male, playing against females, gives you a clear category advantage. And categories were created in the first instance to create fairness. So you wouldn't put a 17-year-old on the pitch with a group of under 10 footballers, would you? And because you know it's going to cause them physical harm, and it's your job to protect and make sure that doesn't happen. When do
you have anything to add to that?
Well, pool might be different, right? Pool doesn't really. I mean, it's not a sport, in my opinion. It's a.
Oh shit!
It's really a game. Truth be told, is a game of mathematics. It's a game of angles. I don't understand why. I mean, men and women. I mean, do men have better dexterity than women? In pool, I have no idea, but it just seems like something that's like pool is equal to me. I feel like, hey, if you, I don't understand why men and women can't compete in pool together. It doesn't seem like anything. Yeah.
Which is why I brought the clip up, because we would all think that there are certain sports that are obvious: football, basketball, hell, even ping pong, tennis. Tennis. You know, there's sports that we know that there's a difference in power and strength, but then it gets into these weird situations where I think even chess, I think, even has its own separations, and pool, of course, has its own separation. So these are unique.
Yeah, I don't know why chess is separated. I mean, you know, it's a cerebral game. It's not physical, so I don't know why chess is separated.
Well, somebody thought of it one day to make it separated. There's probably a reason for it. So, all right, let's move to our next segments.
Yeah.
Let me read the chat real quick. It says, apparently woke culture is lucrative for corporations, why companies often use issues like BLM and LGBT to advertise. Goes back to invoking emotions, evoking dialogue, being more socially aware about your products. All right. So our next thing. Now, speaking of BLM, have you ever seen certain things where a person may post something and they get just railroaded in?
What do you mean?
Like if somebody says, you know, I'm having such a bad day, I don't want my hair to get messed up, and my black friend is gonna be, her hair definitely is gonna get messed up. And the next thing you know, because that white person posts that, they get fired from a job, right?
Oh yeah, you mean being canceled?
Being canceled, yes.
Yeah, being canceled. Yeah.
So this instinct is about a woman named Morgan Bettinger.
Yeah,
and
I know her.
So let's go on to this.
If you haven't heard the story of Morgan Bettinger, it's one you should definitely be familiar with. Now, Morgan's story surrounds flimsy allegations of racism that ended up ruining her life, and the BLM activists who made them being propelled into the spotlight and suffering zero consequences after it was found out that these life-ruining allegations turned out to be false. Now, this story begins in the summer of 2020 at the peak of the George Floyd protests. The gist of the story is that Morgan, a white woman, pulled up to a BLM protest in Charlottesville and told protesters that they would make good effing speed bumps. And then when protesters confronted her, she cried and called the police. At least that's what Black activist Ziana Bryant said. Ziana took to Twitter and wrote, "The woman in this truck approached protesters in Charlottesville and told us that we would make good speed bumps. She then called the police and started crying, saying we were attacking her." She then went on to post.
What do you think about Karens?
To be honest with you, I've done 2 or 3 shows about the beauty of the Karen, particularly the white Karen. The Karen is the de facto law enforcement officer in her community.
Really?
You ask me a question, now you get mad at me for answering your question. No, the Karen acts as a first responder in a beautiful white community. She prevents a lot of nonsense from getting out of proportion. So, for example, speeding. A white Karen, she's gonna why is this guy driving down my street? Now the street is 25 miles an hour. He's going at least 35. Let me get his license plate number. How many times has he done this? Or she? The Karen prevents disorder. Most of the times. Most Karens are beautiful women. Not physically speaking, but they're beautiful in terms of they are community oriented. They prevent a lot of chaos from happening. You know, They nip it right in the bud. For example, I talk about this all the time. What is the difference between an inner city black park and a white park? Well, an inner city black park, you got grown Negroes our age in there shooting dice, playing basketball, utilizing the park. And the park is for children. It's really for children. It's because we don't have Karens in the black community. We don't. There's no white. There's no females that are Karens, and there are no men. You know, there are no old black women. Hear me out for a minute. eBlack, you asked me a question. There are no old black women saying, "Hey guys, why don't we get off this court and leave it for the children? Why don't we leave this park and leave it for the mothers in their strollers?" We don't have that. But the beauty about a white Karen is that a white Karen, she'll walk up to a whole bunch of Negroes or a whole bunch of white dudes. "Hey guys, you can't have your pit bulls in here. It's against the law." "Well, what are you talking about? Man, who cares?" "Well, I'm going to call the police." That is the difference between the white Karen and the black community. The white Karen is needed, or the Karen is needed. She prevents a lot of chaos from happening because she understands a spillover effect. You know, what could happen 10 years from now? You know, how will this park look 10 years from now, 15 years from now, if I don't say anything? Unlike, you know, black people who don't say nothing at all. And I love the white Karen. Now, do some of the Karens get out of order sometimes? Of course. But the majority of the times, the Karen is a beautiful white woman who understands law and order and who's trying to prevent chaos. But go ahead, sir.
Now, chaotic. Earlier, you started out saying that it was a beautiful day and you went to the park.
Yeah.
And you ran, or you walked the park.
Yeah, I walked today, yeah.
Now, what if that same Karen said, "Hey, what are you doing here? He's walking. He must, let me call the police on this guy."
Okay.
Do you still feel the same way about the Karen?
"Oh, officer, here's my ID." Here. What's wrong with that?
So, okay. But anyway, look.
My ID. I'm sorry, officer, here's my ID. "Well, we had a call and blah, blah, blah." "Oh, well, I don't know what happened, but here goes my ID."
You're killing me. You're killing me.
I'm being honest with you.
You're killing me. But okay, let's get back on topic.
Your question. I'm answering your question, sir.
Let's get back on topic. Not only was this Karen canceled because a group of people made statements in regards to this individual, but what we find out later on is that, let me see, let me go here. I think it's there, so I'm going to press play on it.
During these proceedings, you have shown no understanding of the risks this statement posed. So basically, the jury didn't dispute Morgan's version of what she said or even state that she was lying about it. They simply found her guilty due to what they deemed an insensitive comment given the political climate and geographical location of where she made it. By the way, news stories have come out alleging that the dean of students at the time purposely tampered with evidence to make an example out of Morgan, with reports also saying the student jury found her guilty under pressure from Ziana, who threatened to lead a student protest at a nationally televised football game that next day if Morgan was not convicted. Now, a second investigation took place, and this one, which ended up completely clearing Morgan's name, wouldn't conclude until a year later. This investigation, done by professionals, not students this time, was held by the university's Office for Equal Opportunities and Civil Rights, or the EOCR. Now, this investigation was in response to a different complaint Ziana filed, alleging that Morgan had harassed her based on her race. However, based on the EOCR report, they found that the only allegation that turned out to be true regarding Morgan's statements on speed bumps was the one that she originally admitted to. Further, the report finally clarified that Ziana heard the speed bumps remark not from herself, but from a third person, and this was again corroborated by the video that Ziana herself took. Also, 3 out of the 4 allegations.
So, so I want to make sure that we're that the topic is: should Karens be canceled?
No.
I think sometimes the Karens can be a victim of their own wokeness. They feel a certain way in regards to a community. They stereotype or they cast prejudgments upon.
And they should. They should.
No. They
should stereotype.
No, they should not.
Yes,
that's the point. That is being fake woke because you feel that a neighborhood should remain a certain demographic.
I mean,
hold on. You feel like a neighborhood or a place of business or even your local park should be remain the same that it's always having. When diversity comes in, or when something that makes you feel not comfortable because you haven't enlightened yourself, that's the definition of fake woke. You're feeling that, hey, this person doesn't make me feel good. I need to then rectify the situation. Well, that is being fake woke.
I think, okay. So, that's what you believe.
Yes.
But what I believe is a park.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's the middle of the day. What are grown men doing in a park?
Walking.
No.
Yes, walking.
A park, let's be honest, man. There are unwritten rules. And a park is generally for families or a woman walking her children in a carriage. What the hell? I mean, if it's 4 dudes walking in a park, white dudes, black dudes, Hispanic dudes, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would not be upset if a Karen called the police, said, "What are they doing here?"
Now that is fake. That is fake woke. I'm sorry.
This is fake woke?
That's fake woke.
Mm-hmm.
That is fake woke. So once again, you're trying to.
I just got to go on mute real quick.
Yeah, no problem. He's trying to use the idea of stereotypes to justify his behavior. That's not how society works. We shouldn't be thinking that way. And in fact, that is the definition of being fake woke, because your reality and the stuff that you've studied is clouding the judgment of what's really going on. And you're casting virtue. We talked about virtue earlier on. You're casting virtue upon the people surrounding you. Thus, it's okay to call the police on black people. If you see some Mexicans in front of a yard, of course they're trying to steal the Cadillac converter. What else? What's next? See, this is why I do believe Karen should be canceled. There's been situations where a black guy has been walking his dog, small dog. Woman calls the police on him. So, once again, I believe wholeheartedly that Karen should be punishable. I think they should be punishable and they should be investigated for bad treatment. But at the same time, I do not like what they call mobs. I don't like mobbing on somebody. I don't like mobbing on to people with pitchforks and saying that this person said this just to fit your agenda, because you're just as wrong as the next person. So in this particular instance, yes, she needed her fair shake, her fair deal. And it seems like she never got her fair deal because of a woke mob, I'm guessing. Right? You're muted. You're muted.
So yeah, you're talking about the incident in the park with the white woman who said, "Oh, it's a black guy."
Mm-hmm.
I get it, bro. Trust me, I get it. These incidents do happen. But let's be honest. They're far few in between. The majority of the times when a Karen is complaining, she's in the right. I gotta say it.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The majority of the times. Smoking weed. You got pit bulls in the park and it's a no dog park. You're doing something wrong, generally speaking. It is not just black, it's white too.
Is there a black Karen version?
Yeah, I call her the mammy.
The mammy.
Yeah, the mammy.
Why would a mammy be considered the black Karen?
Well, we do know the Karen is an obnoxious white woman, and the mammy is an obnoxious black woman. And a lot of times the mammy acts the same way as the Karen does.
Okay. I'm gonna let you land that
question, so I'm giving you my answer.
No. I'm just fascinated on the way you think sometimes. You okay, so that
just give you my answer, but go ahead.
So let me ask you this. What about affirmative action? What are your thoughts on that?
I think affirmative action is the dumbest policy ever. Lyndon B. Johnson did an incredible disservice to black people. Before that, black people managed to have their own businesses, get into college, have their own colleges. Black people were capable of being independent, free of whites. Affirmative action, if you ask me, is a participation trophy. It's a aspect of a participation trophy.
So when last year the affirmative action was brought upon, and it was regarding the Asians being in college admissions, right? What was your thought about that?
Well, you do know that the Asians actually were in opposition or suing because they felt as though affirmative action was not working in their favor because it was the blacks getting in and other groups of people other than them when they were actually worthy through academics of getting in just by themselves. Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: in the spirit of fake woke, do you believe that the Asians people were being used to create a fake woke position in which they believed that they were being used?
No.
Or they're being looked over?
No.
Okay. Let's roll some video.
Okay.
Not sure. I'm gonna blow this one up.
Asian Americans signing on to be used as tools of white supremacy to dismantle affirmative action did nothing to address the discrimination faced by Asian Americans in college admissions. Because dismantling affirmative action didn't address the fact that selective colleges admit Asian American applicants at a rate 28% less than similarly qualified white applicants. It's almost like the discrimination faced by Asian Americans in college admissions never had anything to do with Black students or affirmative action, and had everything to do with legacy admissions and the choices that colleges make to discriminate against Asian Americans in order to give preferential treatment to lesser qualified white students. If only Black people had tried to warn us. Oh wait, they did.
Okay, I'm gonna play another video.
Okay.
Want to make sure I have them in order. Oh goodness.
Because we shouldn't be judging students. based on their race when we're deciding who gets into what schools. I think that I believe that your previous guest is mistaken in this regard, because I think that by getting rid of affirmative action, now we look at the individual student and what they've accomplished, and we can look at what barriers they've overcome. Because I've heard a lot of people that say, like, hey, affirmative action, it's a good way to overcome past discrimination. But in my experience, as an Asian American, I'm not exactly sure how that works for me.
A few moments later.
Would you look at this? The headline says, Asian American families worry race still a hidden factor in college admissions after Supreme Court decision. Well, now what are they going to complain about? They complained about Black people being in these Ivy League schools. They kept running to the Supreme Court, wanting the Supreme Court to overturn affirmative action. So the Supreme Court overturned affirmative action. Now they're still not satisfied. And you want to know why? Because they didn't go after the real culprit. They went after the low-hanging fruit, which was Black students in those colleges. So the Supreme Court granted them a victory. You can't get a better victory than that. However, Asian American immigrant parents shared that they still feel desperate and in the dark about what it takes for their children to be accepted into elite universities, fearing the court ruling won't stop universities from rejecting their applications based on race. Now,
I'm going to play one more video because that video leads into this next video.
It's on record. Legal disclosures have revealed admissions emails filled with racist descriptions of Asian applicants. Our communities are right to be frustrated and furious, but the problem is racist admissions departments. Why target affirmative action? In 2014, professional litigator Edward Bloom founded Students for Fair Admission, explicitly choosing Asian students as the faces of his campaign. The goal was to use our real grievances to advance an agenda that would return colleges to an upper-class white domain. Removing racial considerations doesn't level the playing field. The reality is, elite colleges are more than happy to admit non-competitive students. 17% of Harvard students are white legacies, children of alumni given preferential treatment. That's almost as much as the Hispanic and Black student populations combined. Frankly, affirmative action has been a broken system. It underserved Blacks and natives while helping Hispanics and Asians and giving the largest boost to white women. It needed to change, but now instead of being able to improve a broken system, we just have no system.
So,
yeah.
Now, you do realize why this is part of fake woke, right?
Why?
Because you do see that maybe the Asian American community was being used as a linchpin for white supremacy.
How?
How? They effectively got rid of any racial consideration while simultaneously increasing their own enrollment while decreasing all public people of color. Because
yeah, I mean,
it never was. Hold on. It never was about Asian enrollment. It was about fair chance. But we never attacked the fair chance, and we dismantled the system that essentially allowed for other people to get a leg up or at least an opportunity. So I believe this is what fake woke happens. You create an uprising and a virtue signal to say that, yeah, we'll let you qualify. We're going to let you in. At the exact same time, when we dismantle the system, you'll find their enrollment going down. They really don't care about fairness, and it was never about equal opportunity or fair play. So I believe this was the definition of fake woke. This is what fake woke is about. This is about creating an issue that really is not an issue, and the issue that's behind the issue is actually being fronted by a larger cause.
Is it plausible to assume that many of those Asian students are indeed good at test taking, is it plausible to assume that they have a legitimate argument that affirmative action, it allows kids who shouldn't be here over the kids who should be here, whether they are white or black?
Yeah,
I really believe that affirmative action is keeping certain kids in these universities, because let's be honest, if there were no affirmative action, Harvard would be 90% Asian, because
no,
they
that's
work.
actually not
No,
true.
but they
That's
work.
actually not true. The
But
fact of
why?
the matter,
Okay,
hold on, and I'm
I'm
sorry for
listening.
interjecting.
No, I will.
The enrollment rate for Harvard is 5%. Even
The
the
enrollment
best
rate.
of the,
What are you talking about?
that means if 20 people tried to enroll into Harvard, only one person would get in, no matter if all 20 were equal. Harvard has the highest standards for their educational system. And what they wanted to do was make at least a small percentage, a slither of a percentage, just to say, you know what, we would like to have this type of educational system. If it was about fairness, then there's no reason for legacy students to come in. If it was about that, then I would agree with you. It would be 90% Asian, possibly. But the fact of the matter is that it's not 90% because of legacy students, because of athletics, because of a lot of other things not related to race.
Asian American students comprise of 23% of the admitted class in 2022. Asian American students comprise of 27% of Harvard's student body.
Yeah, so that would mean exactly, prove your point. That means the people who are being let in by other pretenses, because it ain't 90%.
What is the pretense?
The other pretense is whether they're legacy white.
No, sir.
Yes.
What I'm trying to tell you is that if it were no affirmative action and or legacy, Harvard would be 90% Asian Oriental. That's what I'm saying.
The fact of the matter is that at a particular time, the black population is still not to add up even to the legacy,
because they don't
or the donors.
They're not meeting the requirements.
It's not about meeting the requirements.
They're not.
It's not about meeting the requirements. It's about the admissions department making a decision about their student body.
The black student body, or their high school students, are not meeting the requirements to get into Harvard. I'm trying to tell you that Harvard is competitive. It's like a 8% acceptance rate.
5%.
5%. The black students, or the Hispanic students, or even the white students, truth be told, are not meeting the standards. Asian students work harder. They just do.
And that's fine. But to blame it on affirmative action, trying to fight for a slither of a sliver,
it's not the reason why a lot of kids are there that shouldn't be there.
A lot, or just maybe some? Because that's the question. No. That's the question. The problem is not a lot. The problem is some.
Okay.
And because there are some, people want to be able to take away the little part that is some.
Okay.
So the matrix system that the school has created, which usually involves, hey, we're going to let these legacy students in. We're going to let these athletes in. We're going to let these donor kids in. We're going to let these special interests, foreign immigrants in. We're going to let, this is going to comprise of the educational system of Harvard. And what they've done is basically hamstring them from saying, you know what, we're going to consider race and consider the individual.
Mm-hmm.
This does not help. It does not help the Asians. It does not help the Latinos, and all it does is help white students.
How? I mean, even to this day, Harvard is not really comprised of white students.
Wait, what's the breakdown? Is it overly? Is it at least 50% white?
Let's look it up. Okay, so 46% is white, 18% is Asian, 14% is multiracial, 10% is black. Okay.
So it's an overly white school.
So, what about it?
The whole point is now what if next year, or what if a couple of years from now, you find out that Harvard became 60% white?
Okay. What's so wrong with that?
Because the point of it is to actually help people in America to become educated and to get a equal footing.
Why can't they do that at a state college?
Oh my God. That's the point. Why couldn't the Asian people actually take their losses and go on? Why?
Because the Asian students were actually, give me a second, they were mistreated due to affirmative action. They should have actually been there, but there were unqualified students who got the positions before them. That's why they sued.
And yes, and effectively what happened was they got used for the fake woke outrage.
Yeah.
And now they've put their own selves at jeopardy, because now even they can't even be identified as a part of a matrix system or a metric system for school admissions.
Okay, so what are you getting at, bro?
The point is that this is backfired. Fake woke has backfired on the Asian community.
I get how wokeism has backfired on many communities.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I do. But what is so wrong with the Asian community at Harvard, though? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Because what's going to happen is that they're the same racist systems that they proclaim are happening to lower. That? No, wait a second. What do you mean the Asian people said that they were being discriminated against, right?
No, they said they were against affirmative action.
No, they were said that because they were Asian, they were being discriminated against.
Okay, I can look up right now, bro.
They said that because they got good test scores, they were being discriminated against. Therefore, because they're being discriminated against, they wanted to end affirmative action because it based on their race. Now, the system says, oh, well, because there's no affirmative action, there's just no racism. No, that's not what's happening. They're still going to get racist. They're still going to have racist policies against them.
Okay.
That's what the last video was about. The last video was saying that they've looked it up, that traditionally administrations have been racist against Asian enrollment. And it had nothing to do with affirmative action. It had to do with racist admissions departments. Now they don't have any fail safes to check on whether they've been discriminated against, because essentially they've eliminated the only checks and balances. So I'm going to read the stats. I'm going to read the chat. Chaotic is acting like academics is the only consideration. I agree. Asians do excel more than other groups. However, other groups tend to be more involved in extracurricular activities than Asians, which is another factor.
Students for fair admissions versus Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was a landmark decision of the Supreme Court of the United States, in which the court held that race-based affirmative action programs and college admissions processes violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Okay. In 2013, Students for Fair Admissions filed suit against Harvard University in the U.S. District Court in Boston, alleging that the university's undergraduate admissions practices violated Title IX of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 by discriminating against Asian Americans. I'm telling you, man.
Okay, once again, that's the point. Asian people are saying they are being discriminated against.
But why?
I'm not a racist. I don't know why they would.
They were being discriminated against because they were putting other people in front of them for admissions processes.
No, but now they're gonna have people put in front of them, and they can't blame affirmative action. They're gonna still have racist policies against them, and it's still gonna affect their enrollment.
The racist policies are liberal policies. It's wokeism that's allowing other groups of kids, we know, non-Asians who aren't doing better in test scores to get in. Let's be honest. You don't believe that? Okay, go ahead. Tell me why.
I do not believe that. I believe that racist administrations or administrations have traditionally always been racist, and affirmative action was the only checks and balances to ensure that at least some people would get considerations based on the overall picture of the student. Without that, now you have a department that will obviously know they see an Asian person, and they will obviously say, you know what, you're still not getting in, and you don't have a way of checks and balances of saying, why'd you do it? Well, we just did it because we didn't like the guy. No, you did it because that person was Asian. But now you don't have a way of proving it, nor do you have a statistical backing to research it.
Brother, they did it because of wokeism. Admit the black kid, admit the Hispanic kid, admit the white kid, admit the lower achieving kids over the Asian. Do you realize if Asian kids in America, do you realize, sir, if it was really fair, Harvard would be 100% Chinese, or it wouldn't be? Okay, go ahead. Tell me why. You're on mute, bro. Hold on for a second.
Cyrax says they thought affirmative action didn't work for them, which was wrong. It was not affirmative action. It was Ivy's matrix system, how they pick students. Are we having a problem with understanding that it wasn't necessarily the test scores? It was about the students or the admitted body looking at them and saying, you know what, no matter what, you're Asian and we're not going to let you in. It had nothing to do with affirmative action. They just got blamed because they felt as if other people who were getting admitted were being admitted solely because they were black. To get into Harvard is still a hard job. You still got to go be smart.
I keep on saying it, bro. I respect your opinion, but I'm telling you, the Asian students that were looked over for black or white or Hispanic kids, it was because of affirmative action. It was because, hear me out, it was because of policies in place that will elevate the underperforming student. Don't get me wrong. If you're looked at by Harvard, you're a good student. But compared to Asian students, these kids were put over them because even the administration, even the faculty knows if you really went by raw talent, raw intellectualism, raw academics, Harvard would be 100% Asian. It just would be.
That's on the premise that there's no racism in admission process. I think that you might have a slither of a point there, but I disagree. I think the admission processes in colleges are always traditionally leaned towards race. I just think the only checks and balances that we could do, that we could actually research on, have state enrollment data, was affirmative action. Now we don't have that stuff. We've seen what happens with affirmative action in California. It lowered people of color
that's because
enrollment.
they're underperforming anyway.
No, it's
You
not.
should have never had it in the first place.
Okay, that's in the show.
What do you think? Because you're asking me in my opinion, and I'm giving you my opinion.
No, we're not in the show because of that. We're gonna agree to disagree. But what you think, Chaotic? We got to do this weekly, man.
We should, bro.
At least once a week. At least
you and I both know. Okay, let's be honest, man. And I would love.
I'm being honest.
I would love to do the show weekly, but let's be honest. Between me and you know, without a shadow of a doubt, the hardest working students are Asians or Orientals. Let's be honest, bro. Like, come on, man. Like,
I took computers. Look. I've taken computer science. They're not the hardest working. I promise you that. Every year in my computer science class, it was a group of Asian students who copied programs, who stole each other. It's not about hard work then. They work smartly. That was the thing about it. When I did go to my computer science class, and as I got higher into data structures, I tried to work with my Black friends and the Black students. It just didn't. The Black students, we never worked together. We never shared notes. But it was never about intellect. These kids was, after a while, once they realized that I was smart, they started coming to me. So it was never about hard work with them. It's just about study habits. It's about study habits and environment. Yes.
Okay. Whether or not they are cheating.
Yes, they were cheating. Every year they got caught. Every single year, it's a group of 5 Asian kids who got caught because they was running the same code.
Let's be honest, man. Whether they got caught or not, you know as well as I do, Oriental kids work harder.
I disagree. I disagree. Right. Give me an American-born citizen with a good environment. I put them up against anybody in the world. That's just my opinion.
Good.
All right. Well, we're gonna end it on that. I think like I said, I would love to get Chaotic here every week. We're gonna try to make it work with you guys. But this was Beware of the Fake Woke. I appreciate everybody who's been here. You killing me, man. You got any last words, man?
No, great show. Thank you so much, E.
All right, let's get out of here, y'all.
Yep.